Hello all, in today's session we are going to talk about the infinitesimal dipole. Infinitesimal dipole is also called as a Hertzian dipole, short dipole or the oscillating dipole. So let us see what do you mean by the infinitesimal dipole. As we have already seen in the previous session, what is the definition of the infinitesimal dipole. The infinitesimal dipole is the dipole which is having a length is very less than lambda. So here we are assuming that our length of this particular dipole is less than lambda by 50. So this is the first definition which we have seen in the previous session, that the antennas which are having the length which is less than or equal to lambda by 50 will be called as the infinitesimal dipole. Now please see the another definition of this particular dipole, which is also called as the Hertzian dipole. So when the current on the dipole is constant over its length, it is called as Hertzian dipole. So here, as we know that whenever your antenna is having a length less than or equal to lambda by 50, the current distribution is almost constant over its length. So it will also be called as the Hertzian dipole. So for a constant current, the length of the dipole must be very small as compared to the wavelength, and we are having this condition in this infinitesimal dipole. So although such a very small current element does not exist in the real life, it serves as a building block from which the field of practical antenna can be calculated by integration. So it is very important to understand how this infinitesimal antenna works, or what are the parameters of this particular infinitesimal antenna. Now let us see the field due to infinitesimal dipole. So when we talk about the fields due to this infinitesimal dipole, we must assume some of the things. So the first assumption here, some assumption we are making when we talk about this infinitesimal dipoles. So the first assumption here is nothing but this L is very small than the wavelength. So here we are assuming that our length is less than or equal to lambda by 50. So this is our first assumption. The second assumption, that is the radius of the wire, that is A. So we can say the radius of wire, which is nothing but the A, is very less than lambda, means this particular wire is very thin. So this is the next assumption. The third assumption which we are making is nothing but we are assuming that the antenna is placed symmetrically at the origin of the coordinate system, and it is oriented along the z axis. So it is placed symmetrically placed, and you can say at the origin of coordinate system and oriented along the z axis. And the third, this is our third assumption, and the fourth assumption is that the current assumed to be constant in z direction. So here I can say current constant in z direction. So when I say that my current is constant in z direction, means I bar z dash is nothing but the I0 AZ bar, where I can say that I0 is equal to constant. So this is my fourth assumption, and the last assumption is that the medium surrounding is air. So these are our assumptions while talking about the fields due to infinitesimal antenna. Now let us see how this particular antenna will be placed. If we are assuming so many things here, your antenna is very small length, will be having this kind of the structure. It is, as we are assuming that it is a very thin, that is very small, and you can say it is symmetrically placed. So I can say this is the origin, this is nothing but the, I can say, r. This angle will be called as the theta angle. This is nothing but the y, and I can say this is nothing but the x coordinate. So this is the meaning of our all assumptions, and we know that this particular angle is, again we are calling it as a, say, if this kind of things you see, this angle will be called here as the 5 angle. So we assume it is a very small antenna which is having very small length, symmetrically placed, that's why L by 2, L by 2. So this is nothing but the, all our assumptions are true in this particular case. This will be theta, this will be 5, oriented, you can say, in the z direction, coordinate system, and oriented along the z axis. So this is all about our assumptions, and this is the meaning how we are placing our antennas. Now let us see the fields due to this particular infinitesimal antenna. So while seeing these fields, we'll follow the steps which we have seen in the previous session. So the first step is to find the magnetic vector potential A. So we'll start with the magnetic vector potential, that is nothing but the A bar. So the first step is nothing but the, I'll say this is the step 1 to find magnetic vector potential, which is nothing but the A bar. So let us talk about the magnetic vector potential, how we can find out this particular magnetic vector potential. To find out this one, we must understand the general expression of this. So A bar x y z is equal to mu by 4 pi integration I bar x dash y dash and z dash e raised to minus j k r divided by r dl bar. So let us understand the meaning of each and every term which is used in this particular equation. So where I can say here, I'll see here, I can observe x, y, z. Now this represents, these are nothing but the observation points. Now this x dash, y dash and z dash, this represents the coordinates of the source. These are the coordinates of the source. Now r is nothing but the distance from the source to the observation point. So this is the distance from source to the observation point. Now when the current is flowing along the wire along the z axis, that we can see that your current is flowing along with the z axis. So I will write here I x dash y dash z dash is equal to I bar z dash, which is nothing but the constant I0 AZ bar. So, and here you know that DL bar is nothing but the Z, DL dash is nothing but the DZ dash. So also the source is at origin, and the distance from the source of the observation point means measuring distance from the origin. So every R, so I can say that every R can be replaced or will be replaced, every R will be replaced by R in spherical coordinates. So I'll replace R with the small r. So I'll replace this r with the smaller r. Now the expression of A bar will become, now let us write this particular equation again, that A bar xy, A bar xyz is equal to mu by 4 pi, varies from minus L by 2 to L by 2, I0 AZ bar e raised to minus jk small r by r dz dash. So this is nothing but the how we modified our equation based on the inputs given over there. So here it will be mu I0 AZ bar divided by 4 pi r. I have taken the constants out. Then e raised to minus j kr, which varies from minus L by 2 to L by 2 dz bar. Now let us integrate this particular thing. So this vector magnetic potential, here I'll write again A bar x y z is equal to mu I0 L 4 pi r is equal to, you can say, into e raised to minus j k r a z bar. As we know, this is nothing but the a z bar. So here I'll write this particular equation as a z bar. So the vector magnetic potential is only in the direction of z, okay, as was expected since the current is in the z direction. So here we have written this particular equation, which is a bar x y z. Now let us see how we can find out the magnetic field intensity. Now here we have converted AZ in the spherical coordinate system. So this is nothing but the AZ in spherical coordinate system. So this is how your AZ will look in the spherical coordinate system. Now here in the step 3 we are going to find out the magnetic field intensity. We know what is the relationship of this magnetic field intensity with the vector potential. So we have B bar is equal to mu H bar, which is nothing but the del cross A bar, whereas A is the magnetic vector whereas H is nothing but the magnetic field intensity and A is nothing but the magnetic vector potential. So we have find out the magnetic vector potential. Now in the spherical coordinate system, when we talk about the spherical coordinate system, we can find out the del cross A by this formula. So del cross is A is equal to, this is A is equal to r square sine theta 1 by r square sine theta. You can write here AR r a theta r sine theta a phi, whereas this will be d by dr, d by d theta, and this will be d by d5. So this will be AR r a theta and this will be r sine theta a phi. So this is which we have already seen how we can represent our magnetic vector potential in the spherical coordinate system. Now let us see. Now to solve this particular, we require to find out the relationship between AZ and AR, A theta and the A5 kind of things. So here these components we will find out that AR is equal to, now let us find out the relationship of this AR, A theta, A5 with the AZ. So here I'll write here AR is equal to AZ cos theta, A theta is equal to minus AZ sin theta. So here negative sign in the above expression is due to theta, which is always increases. You can see this is the theta which is always increases. Now this theta will always increases opposite to the or away from the z axis. So conventional direction of A theta you can see here, but the projection of AZ in A theta dash direction is opposite, and that's why this is the negative. Now what will be the A5 in this particular? We have find out the AR, A theta. What about A5? So A5 is equal to 0. Now 0 result is because AZ is vertical. Here you can see here in this particular thing, your AZ is a vertical and its projection in horizontal direction must be a 0. So this is nothing but how we have find out AR, A theta and A5. Now you can see here how we can write down. Now also note that the value of AZ at all points on the circle surrounding Z axis is same. Okay. Now next one is nothing but here if your value of AZ will be same. Now in order, or you can see in other words, AZ does not vary with the 5. So giving all differentiation with respect to 5 are 0. So here I can write for all d by d5 is equal to 0. Okay. So putting, now here I'll put A5 is equal to 0 and d by d5 is equal to 0 in the expression which we have already written previously. We can expand this equation, that is del cross A bar is equal to 1 upon r square sine theta. Here this will be the AR, this will be r a theta, r sine theta, a5 d by dr, d by d theta. Here d by d phi will be 0. This will be the AR, this will be r a theta. Again here it will be a 0 as it is a r sine theta a5. So a5 is 0 and that's why this equation will become a 0. So I have modified my equation, which is nothing but the mu h. So I can write here mu h r a r h theta a theta plus h5 a5. So I have resolved this particular h component in three direction, that is r, theta and 5. So expanding and comparing both the sides or the two side I can write here. So I'll expand and compare. So if I expand and if I compare, hr is equal to 0 and h theta will also be equal to 0. So here again we will write all the things as I need to equate this and this two sides. So I'll write here 1 upon r square theta. So I can write 1 upon r square sine theta, r sine theta a5 d by dr r a theta minus d by d theta ar, which is equal to mu h5 a5. So I have compared both the sides. So here I'll find out the h5 component, which is nothing but the h5 is equal to 1 upon mu r d by dr r a theta minus d by d theta ar. So here I can say that this complete equation will be 1 upon mu r d by dr minus r az sine theta minus d by d theta az cos theta. Now putting the value of az from the above equation in the equation in step 1, we have find out the value of the az. So we'll put that value. So putting value of az, will get h phi is equal to 1 upon mu r mu I0L divided by 4 pi d by dr minus e raised to minus jkr into sine theta minus d by d theta e raised to minus jkr by r into cos of theta. So I'll complete this bracket here. Okay, so I have put it all the values over here for the h5. Now if I solve it further, I'll get it is equal to I0L divided by 4 pi r jk e raised to minus jkr sine theta plus e raised to minus jkr divided by r sine theta. So again solving it further, I'll get the h5 component as, so that is h5 is equal to I0L 4 pi r sine theta jk 1 plus 1 upon jkr e raised to minus jk. So here I have find out the h5 component. So thus the magnetic field components due to infinitesimal dipole, I have find out the hy component, and we have equated other two things also. So due to the infinitesimal dipole, I have got the magnetic field component here in the phi direction. So other two components here is nothing but I will write h r is equal to 0 and h theta is equal to 0 and h phi is equal to I0L 4 pi L sine theta jk square root in the bracket 1 plus 1 upon jkr into e raised to minus jkr. So here we have find out the magnetic field component, which is only H5, other two components are 0. Now we'll find out the electric field in the next step. Now let us find out in the step number 3 the electric field, that is E. Now we know that electric field can be obtained from the magnetic field using the Maxwell's equation. So if you talk about the Maxwell's equation, our Maxwell's equation says us that del cross H bar is equal to j omega epsilon E bar. So as we know that we have got this H component, we can find out the E component from this particular equation. So let us talk about this electric field component in the spherical coordinate system. So we know that electric field component in the spherical coordinate system can be resolved in r theta, and you can say the 5 directions. So this will be er, e theta and e phi. So here we'll expand del cross H bar to get this particular electric field component. So del cross H can be written in this particular form, is equal to 1 upon r square sine theta ar, r a theta, r sine theta, a 5 bar. We can write d by dr, d by d theta, d by d phi. As we know, this term is a 0. hr and h theta we have calculated, which is 0 0. So this will be r sine theta h5. So I have written all the things over there. Now I can find here that this particular equation is nothing but the del cross H bar is j omega epsilon E. So I'll equate this particular thing, and electric field component I'll resolve in the r theta and phi direction. So let us write another equation, which is nothing but the j omega epsilon er ar plus e theta a theta plus e5 a5. So expanding the determinants, we can write here, and now I'll expand the determinants. So expanding determinants here, I can write this particular equation in this way, that is 1 upon r square sine theta ar bar d by d theta r sine theta h5 minus r a theta d by dr r sine theta h5 is equal to, now this particular equation I'll equate to the, this will be equal to j omega epsilon er ar plus e theta a theta plus e5 a5. So this I have having a two equations. Now let us compare these two equations over here to get the another equation. Okay, so here if I am comparing this both the equations, I can write here. So I'll write here comparing, we will get here that is j omega e theta is equal to 1 upon r square sine theta minus r d by dr r sine theta h5. So this is nothing but the comparison of one component, and the another component is j omega er is equal to 1 upon r square sine theta d by d theta r sine theta h5. Now I have got these two particular components over here. I'll write j omega, here I have forget epsilon, so there will be the epsilon er. So again, by comparing these two things, I can write here that, let us solve this particular equation. So this will be 1 upon r square sine theta d by d theta r sine theta I0L 4 pi r sine theta jk 1 plus 1 upon jkr e raised to minus jkr, and we'll complete this bracket. As we know that we have already calculated h5 component, so I have put h5 component over there. So here by elaborating for this particular equation, I can get 1 upon r square sine theta I0L 4 pi, right here jk 1 plus 1 upon jkr e raised to minus j k r d by d theta sine square theta. So I have again written the complete equation. So this particular equation will be equal to 1 upon r square sine theta I0 L 4 pi jk 1 plus 1 upon jkr e raised to minus jkr 2 sine theta cos theta, whereas I have taken the derivative of this particular term. Now let us expand this particular equation. So here if I solve this equation, I'll get the value of ER. So I'll write here this particular thing, that ER is equal to I0L 2 pi r square cos theta. So k by omega epsilon 1 plus 1 upon jkr e raised to minus jkr. Now here we have put it something further, k by omega epsilon. Now we know that k is nothing but the phase constant. ठीक है, so either you can use the denotation as a k or you can use the denotation as the beta. So we know k, otherwise you can say the phase constant is equal to omega mu epsilon. So you can write here k by omega epsilon is equal to omega into square root of mu epsilon omega epsilon. So if you write this particular equation, solve this will be mu by epsilon, and we know that mu by epsilon is nothing but the intrinsic impedance, that is neta. So this is nothing but the intrinsic impedance, which we have already seen in the previous session, that how we are going to write the intrinsic impedance. Neta is 120 pi, otherwise you can say the neta is 177 ohm. So as we know that this neta is the intrinsic impedance, we'll put the value of that neta over there. So I can write here that ER is equal to, so ER is equal to I0L 2 pi r square cos theta, this will be the neta, 1 plus 1 upon jkr e raised to minus jkr. So this is the equation which I have got when I put that particular value as an intrinsic impedance. Now we know that we have got this equation and we have to find out. Now here we have got one component, that is ER. So I'll say this is my ER component. ठीक है, so electric field component in the direction of R I have got, that is nothing but the I0L 2 pi r square cos theta neta 1 plus 1 upon jkr into e raised to minus jkr. Now I am interested in the e theta. So now we know that we have already find out one equation for that. J omega epsilon e theta is equal to 1 upon r square sine theta and minus r d by dr r sine theta h5. So this is nothing equation which we have already seen previously while equating both the components. So here if you put the values of this particular h5 component, I can write this particular or rewrite this equation as 1 upon r square sine theta minus r d by dr r sine theta I0L 4 pi r sine theta jk 1 plus 1 upon jkr e raised to minus jkr. So here I have written the complete equation by putting the value of, I can say, h5. So again expanding this, I'll get I0L 4 pi r and say sine theta jk d by dr 1 plus 1 upon jkr e raised to minus jkr. So this is nothing but the equation which I have got right now. Now let us solve this equation further. What I get out of this particular equation, that we will see. So here is equal to I0L. Now we know that this particular equation is having a minus sign of minus r over here. So I can write here this particular equation is having the sign of minus. So I0L 4 pi r sine theta jk 1 plus 1 upon jkr minus jk e raised to minus jkr plus e raised to minus jkr minus 1 upon jkr square. So here you can see you have put it all the things over there. solve the equation. Now taking minus jk common out of the square bracket, now we are having a square bracket over here and we'll take the minus jk common. So I can say taking minus jk common, how this equation will become. So I have taken the minus jk common and I'll write the equation here again. So here I'll write the complete equation as j omega epsilon e theta is equal to plus I0 L divided by 4 pi r sin theta jk square 1 plus 1 upon jkr plus 1 upon jkr square into e raised to minus jkr. So here I have written the complete equation, or I can write here e theta is equal to I0 L 4 pi r sin theta neta, as we have already gone through this particular thing, neta jk 1 plus 1 upon jkr plus 1 jkr square into e raised to minus jkr. So here I have got the component e theta. In the previous equation we have find out the component er, and here we have found out the component e theta. And as we know that e phi component, as h phi component is 0, you can say the e phi component will be 0. So if I summarize all the components over here, so I will write here the field components. Thus the field components of the infinitesimal dipole will be here er is equal to I0 L divided by 2 pi r square cos theta neta 1 plus jkr e raised to minus jkr. So this will be the er component, and then e theta component, which we have already find out right now. So 4 pi r sin theta, I can say neta jk 1 plus 1 upon jkr plus 1 upon jkr square into e raised to minus jkr. So this is nothing but the er component and the e theta component, and we know that our e phi component here will be 0. ठीक है, so these are nothing but the three components. Now e phi component is 0, as in the previous step we have find out hr is 0 and h theta is also 0, but we have find out the h phi component. So h phi component, in the previous equation we have got I0 L 4 pi r sin theta jk 1 plus 1 upon jkr into e raised to minus jkr. So these are nothing but the field components which we have got right now. So we can say from this particular equation that your er and e theta component does exist. E phi component is 0, hr h theta will be 0, and h phi component will be I0 L 4 pi r sin theta jk square root 1 plus jkr divide 1 by jkr into e raised to minus jkr. So these field components are present in the region surrounding the dipole. So close observation of the field equation reveals that we have a terms varying. Now here if you'll see, we are having a terms varying. If I multiply this particular thing inside this one, that so I have 3 terms over there. So I will have, say, varying terms which I can write here. I have 3 varying terms over there. So 1 upon r cube. So I can say here, when I am talking about the field components and the region, so here I can say the region surrounding the dipole will be categorized, or will be categorized in 3 ways, that is 1 upon r cube, 1 upon r square, and 1 upon r. So here the term 1 upon r cube, now let us discuss it in every term separately. So 1 upon r cube, now this term is nothing but the electrostatic field. So this term gives you or this term will be called as the term which is related with the electrostatic field. Now since it corresponding to the field of an electric dipole, this term dominates over the term in the region very close to the infinitesimal dipole. You can say this is nothing but the very close to the dipole. ठीक है, so here you can say, or you can say this is the electrostatic term. Now next one is nothing but the 1 upon r square. So this term you can say as the inductive field, or this region will be called as the inductive field region. So whereas you can say that this is, or the distance is close to the current elements, ठीक है, or distance is you can say less than this particular distance. Now let us talk about the 1 of r. So this will be called as the far field region term, or you can say the radiation field, ठीक है. So as we have already discussed about the region of the antennas, the first one is nothing but the you can say near field region and the far field region. So here this term, two terms will be in the near field region and this will be in the far field region, ठीक है. So here you can say this is the only term that remains you can say where you are observing the radiations, ठीक है, or this field will give you the very nice radiation. So 1 by r term is called as a far field or the radiating field because it is the only term that remains at the far zone, so that is at a point very far from the current element. So these are nothing but the regions how we have divided. 1 by r3 electrostatic, very close. 1 by r square, this term will be called as the inductive field and it is predictable from the Biot-Savart law. So this term is important only at near field, so that is the distance close to the current elements, and 1 by r will be the far field term. Now here we will see the field expressions in the near and the far field region. So now let us talk about the field expressions in the far and near field region. So as we have already talked about the near field region and the far field region, we will talk about the field expression in that particular field which we have seen right now. So let us talk about the field expression in the near and the far field region. So let us discuss about the far field zone, as we know that our far field zone will give you the very nice kind of the radiations, okay. So here I will talk first about the far field zone. So here we can consider the far field zone is nothing but the zone whereas your Kr is very greater than 1, ठीक है. So if we restrict the observation point far away from the source, your Kr must be very greater than 1. So you can say that if your Kr is very greater than 1, K will be greater than 1r. So here we can neglect other two terms, that is 1 upon j kr and 1 upon j kr square terms can be neglected in this particular far field region. So here as we have already talked about, these terms must or may be neglected. Your er term contains that, that's why it will be 0. Your e theta term, where we are neglecting this term, will become I0L 4 pi r sin theta neta jk e raised to minus jkr, where we have neglected other terms. Now next one is nothing but the E5. So E5 will also be 0, as we have already seen E5 is equal to 0. Now here HR 0, H theta 0, ठीक है, and here H5, if you neglect the terms, this will be I0L 4 pi r sin theta jk e raised to minus jkr. So this is all about the components which we have already find out, ठीक है. So in the far field region, as we are discussing, we are neglecting other terms and then we have got only e theta component and h5 component, ठीक है. Now the next one is nothing but the field expressions for the near field zone. So how we are going to find out the near field zone expression? So let us write near field zone expression. So here I'll write the near field expressions. Now if we restrict the observation point very close to the source, we get the near field expression. So in the near field expression we can say that your Kr is very smaller than 1 and 1 upon jkr square greater than 1 upon jkr, and this is also greater than 1. So then the set of equations which we have seen for the far field region will become over here that Er is equal to or is close to minus j neta I0L, you can say 2 pi kr cube cos theta e raised to minus jk r, whereas we have neglected 1 by r wala term. ठीक है, so e theta will be there and it will be minus jn I0L 4 pi kr3 cube sin theta e raised to minus jkr, and we know that E5 is equal to 0. So this is all about the electric field component for the near field region. Now let us talk about the magnetic field component. So here HR is equal to 0, H theta is equal to 0, and then we can say H5 is equal to I0L 4 pi r square sin theta e raised to minus jk. So here we have got all the components for the near field region also. So at a certain distance our near and far fields are equal. So at this distance, so there is one distance which we can say that there the r field region, your near field region and the far field regions will be equal. So how that particular thing will happen? So here I am assuming that my far field region and the near field region both are the equals. So H5 far field is equal to H5 near field. So here I can say K is equal to 1 by R. So R is equal to 1 upon K, which is nothing but the V by omega. ठीक है, so as we know the 1 upon phase constant is nothing but the V by omega, which is lambda by 2 lambda. So that will be the equal to lambda by 6. So I can say that at the distance of lambda by 6 I'll get my near field region and far field region both will be equal. Now let us talk about the parameters or the last step to find out or to analyze the antenna, that is nothing but the radiation resistance of infinitesimal dipole. So here I am going to find out radiation resistance. Now this is denoted by RR. So how I am going to find out the radiation resistance for the infinitesimal dipole? Now here we know that E bar is equal to ER AR plus E theta A theta, as E5 component will be 0 for this particular antenna. ठीक है, so here we know that H, now here H bar will be H5 A5, as I know other two components are nothing but the A theta and I can say H theta and H5 H theta and HR will be 0. So the complex Poynting vector will be given by, so I can write here the complex Poynting vector W bar is equal to 1/2 electric field into the complex of the magnetic field, which I can write 1/2 ER AR plus E theta A theta into H5 A5, which will be the complex quantity. ठीक है, so by elaborating this particular things I can write here 1/2 E theta H5 complex AR minus ER H5 complex A theta bar. So here I have got the power density. So complex Poynting vector in general will be given by, so how I am going to give this complex Poynting vector, that is W bar WR AR plus W theta A theta plus W5 A5. So this are nothing but the unit vectors in the direction of r, theta and phi. So comparing the equations here, if I compare the equation, I can write here. So let us compare the equations and let us write what we get. So comparing, I'll get WR is equal to 1/2 E theta H phi complex. W theta is equal to, you can say, now I'll compare this quantity. So this will be minus 1/2 ER H phi complex, and W phi will be 0. So this will be the power density in you can say R and the theta direction. So here each component of W bar can be obtained separately. So here we'll find out each and every component in the separate direction. So first we'll talk about the WR. So let us find out this WR. So as we know that WR is nothing but the 1/2 E theta H phi, but which is nothing but the complex quantity. Now let us put the values of all these things. So I'll write here 1/2 I0L 4 pi r sin theta neta jk 1 plus 1 upon jkr plus 1 by jkr square e raised to minus jkr. Now into this h phi component will be I0L 4 pi r sin theta into minus jk 1 minus 1 upon jkr e raised to jkr. Now let us solve this particular equation to get the power density in the direction of r. So let us elaborate these things. So whenever you are solving this particular equation, you will write this WR is equal to minus 1/2 I0L divided by 4 pi r square sin square theta neta jk square and 1 plus 1 upon jkr plus 1 by jkr square minus 1 upon jkr minus 1 upon jkr square minus 1 upon jkr cube. So this is the complete term I have written over here for power density in the r direction. So this will become now minus 1/2 I0L 4 pi r square sin square theta neta jk square 1 minus 1 upon jkr cube. So further solving this, I'll get plus I0 square L square 32 pi square r square sin square theta neta 2 pi by lambda square 1 minus j kr cube. So here again this will become is equal to neta by 8 I0L divided by lambda sin square theta r square 1 minus j by kr cube. So this is nothing but the equation which I have got for WR. So here I can write this, the power density R component will be n by 8, that is neta by 8 I0L by lambda sin square theta r square into 1 minus j by kr. Now let us talk about the other component, that is W theta. So here we have already talked about the W theta. We have found out something over there for the W theta, which is nothing but the minus 1/2 ER H 5 complex component. So while writing equation for this particular component, I have to write the ER and H5 component. So here I'll write minus 1/2 I0L 2 pi r square cos theta neta 1 plus 1 upon jkr e raised to minus jkr into I0L 4 pi r sin theta minus jk into 1 minus 1 upon jkr into e raised to jkr. So I have written this particular value over there for W theta. So while solving this one, I'll get a j neta k I0L square, 16 pi square I cube r cube cos of theta sin theta. So this will be 1 plus 1 upon kr square. So this is nothing but the equation which I have got for the w theta. So the complex power moving in the radial direction is obtained by integrating power density over the closed surface of the radius r. So the real part of it is the power transmitted by of antenna, which is to be used to find the radiation resistance. So हम लोग whenever we are talking about the P radiated, we take the integration of this density. So P is equal to surface integration of this with respect to ds. So if you put all these things over there in the equation, you will get 0 to 2 pi, 0 to pi, WR plus W theta A theta. So R square sin theta D theta D5 and ARs. ठीक है. So this is nothing but how we are going to find out the radiated power. So if you calculate this further, you will get this equation as, you can write 0 to 2 pi, 0 to pi, WR R square sin theta D theta D5, because we know that AR into AR will be 1, and as they are orthogonal components, this will be AR A theta will be equal to 0. So I have got here power, that is nothing but the WR R square sin theta D theta D5. So using the value of, you can say, WR, so using value of WR, we can write P is equal to 5, 0 to 2 pi, 0 to pi, neta by 8, I0L by lambda square sin square theta R square divided, 1 minus j by kr cube. Write this as a R square sin theta D theta. So I have written the complete equation over there by using the value of WR, which we have already calculated. So if you put all that things, you will get 2 pi n by 8 I0L by lambda square 1 minus j kr cube, then integration from 0 to pi sin cube theta d theta. So here we will use a Willis formula for the sin n theta. So by using, I can say, Willis formula, I'll write 0 to pi sin cube theta d theta is equal to 2, 0 to pi by 2 sin cube theta d theta, which is nothing but the 2 into 2 by 3 into 1, which is nothing but the 4 by 3. So we have written by using the Willis formula that sin cube theta is nothing but the 4 by 3. So putting this value in the equation, we will get, now we have calculated what is the value of sin cube theta. So we'll put that value over there in our equation. So P is equal to 2 pi n by 8 I0L lambda, I'll write this in the mod sign, square 1 minus j kr cube into 4 by 3. So I have written whatever I have concluded from the previous things. So neta pi by 3 I0L divided by lambda square, and this is 1 minus j by kr cube. So this is nothing but how we have find out this particular power over there by this particular infinite. Now this power consists of the real part and the imaginary part. So when we talk about the power radiated, it is the real power. So I need to consider the real power. So I have this component as a real power component. So P radiated will be always real. So I can write the P radiated here will be the neta pi by 3. Can write I0L divided by lambda square. So this is the radiated power by an infinitesimal dipole. Now as I have find out the radiated power by the infinitesimal dipole, I can calculate the radiation resistance. So I can write this P radiated is nothing but the, now this particular power I can equate with the, I can say P radiated is equal to 1/2 I0 square RR, which we have already seen. So equating two terms in this particular, I can write now that P radiated, or you can say P radiated is equal to 1/2 I0 square RR. So 1/2 I0 square RR is equal to neta pi by 3 I0L lambda square. So whenever we are talking about the radiation resistance, and if we need to find out the radiation resistance, that RR is equal to neta pi by 3 L by lambda square. So using, we know that neta is an intrinsic impedance, which is nothing but the 120 pi. So if I use the value of this intrinsic impedance, RR is equal to 80 pi square L by lambda. So this is nothing but the radiation resistance by an infinitesimal antenna, or radiation resistance of an infinitesimal. Now let us talk about the radiation pattern of this particular infinitesimal dipole. So whenever we are talking about the radiation pattern, we'll talk about the two patterns, that E field pattern and the H field pattern. So here I'll discuss right now about the radiation pattern. So we know that this E theta is equal to I0L 4 pi r, I can say sin theta neta jk e raised to minus jk r. So here this is nothing but this. So using this expression of a different or you can say that using this expression for E, different plots can be made. So first we'll talk about the field pattern and the power pattern. So here I'll write the field pattern for the infinitesimal dipole. So when the amplitude of E is plotted, it will be called as the field pattern, and when you are plotting, you can say the amplitude will be the field pattern. And when I talk about the power pattern, the square of amplitude will be plotted. Square of amplitude will be plotted. So this will be called as the power pattern. So these are the two patterns. So the three-dimensional plot of antenna is avoided by plotting separately E and H plane pattern. So we'll plot the separately E plane patterns and the H plane pattern. So when I talk about the E plane pattern, so when I talk about the E plane pattern, these patterns we have already discussed. What do you mean by E plane pattern, what do you mean by H plane pattern? So let us discuss this particular E plane pattern. So when I talk about the E plane pattern, in the spherical coordinate system, a 5 constant plane is a vertical plane. So a plot of normalized E, so I can say this will be the normalized E versus theta for constant 5. ठीक है. So this will be called as the E plane pattern or the vertical pattern. Normally this plot is made in 5 is equal to constant or 0. ठीक है. So which is nothing but the XZ plane. Now let us talk about the H plane pattern. Now in this particular H plane pattern, what we do, we plot normalized E versus 5 for theta is equal to pi by 2. So this will be called as the H plane pattern or the horizontal pattern. Now note that in a spherical coordinate, angle theta is measured from z axis and theta is pi by 2 in the horizontal plane or xy plane. So here we need to remember that the normalized value is obtained by dividing the value by its maximum value. So H plane pattern is nothing but the normalized E versus 5 for theta is equal to pi by 2. Now using the equation which we have find out for the E theta, so here we have find out this E theta value over here. So E theta is equal to I0L divided by 4 pi r sine of theta neta k. So these things we have already find out. So maximum value, where you will obtain the maximum value, so the maximum value will be obtained at theta is equal to pi by 2. So whenever your theta is 90 degree, you will get the maximum value. So here if I put all that things over there, I can say E theta max is equal to I0L 4 pi r n k. So then normalized value of E theta, so I can write then the normalized value of E theta n is equal to E theta divided by E theta max, which is nothing but the mod of sin theta. ठीक है, so this is independent of 5 and it is the function of theta. So I can say that E theta normalized is equal to function of theta, which is nothing but the mod of sin theta. So you can say the plot of theta for different values of, you can say theta in the phi is equal to 0 plane, we can find out for this particular. So this will be called as a normalized E plane or the vertical pattern. So for H plane pattern we set theta, so here we'll plot this particular patterns over there. So the first is nothing but we can say E plane or vertical pattern. So right here E plane pattern, where I'm assuming theta vary 5 constant. So there will be the value for variable theta and your phi will be constant in this case. So this will be called as the E plane pattern. So if I talk about the H plane pattern, I can write theta constant, or I can say pi by 2, and you are varying, so here I can say f theta is equal to 1. ठीक है, and you are varying 5, so you are varying the 5, either this 5 will be constant or it will be the 0 here. So this is E plane pattern and H plane pattern. So for H plane pattern we set theta constant or it is pi by 2. So f theta in this equation will be 1. So since the value of f theta is 1, for any value of 5 the locus will be the circle of the radius equal to 1. So here we will talk about the E plane pattern. अगर आप E plane pattern की बात करेंगे तो you will get the E plane pattern like this. So I can say this is the x coordinate and this will be the z coordinate. So I'll get the radiation pattern for this particular like this. So if I draw the radiation pattern, I can say this is nothing but the theta 5 is equal to 0 plane. I can say for theta is equal to 0, I'll get this values. ठीक है, so this is nothing but the first pattern, which I'll call it as a E plane pattern, or I can say it is a vertical pattern. So either E plane or a vertical pattern. So now let us talk about the another pattern, that is nothing but the H plane pattern. So here we can say that your H plane pattern, if you draw this H plane pattern, this is the y coordinate and this will be the x coordinate, and here you will get this particular pattern as a circle. ठीक है, so you can write here this 5 is equal, or this 5 or theta is equal to pi by 2 plane, and this is x and this will be the y. So I will call this pattern as H plane or horizontal pattern. ठीक है, now let us talk about the three-dimensional patterns. So your three-dimensional pattern, by observing these two patterns, will understand how our three-dimensional pattern will look like. So let us draw the three-dimensional pattern for infinitesimal dipole. So C 3-dimensional pattern. So this pattern will look like this. So I have this coordinates, and if I draw along with this particular, I'll get this or these loops over there, and we'll connect these loops by this particular thing. So this is nothing but the three-dimensional pattern for infinitesimal antenna, whereas we say this is nothing but the angle theta, and from here you will find the angle phi. So this is the field pattern of infinitesimal dipole, otherwise you can say these are the Hertzian dipoles. Now let us talk about the directivity of this particular antenna. So here how we are going to find out the directivity for infinitesimal antenna. So here I'll write the directivity, so this will be denoted by D. So let us talk about the directivity of the infinitesimal dipole, whereas I can write this particular things will be D0 is equal to 4 pi U max divided by P radiated. So now as we know the nomenclatures of this, U max is the maximum radiation intensity and P radiated is nothing but the power radiated. So to obtain U max, now how we are going to find out? To obtain this U max, now this U max is nothing but the maximum maximum radiation intensity. So how we are going to find out this U max over there? So to find out the U max, we know that average Poynting vector is equal to 1/2 E bar into H complex. So 1/2 RE E theta A theta into H5 A5, whereas H5 component will be the complex component. So here again writing all these things over there, I'll get here 1/2 RE E theta A theta into E theta complex E by neta A5 bar. So here by putting all the values, again I can write this equation 1 by 2 neta E theta square AR bar, which is nothing but the W average AR bar. So where W average is nothing but the 1 upon 2 neta E theta square. Now here we know that W average is 1 upon 2n E theta square. We can put all these values in our equations. Now I will get the equation this W average. So therefore W average is equal to n by 2 K I0L by 4 pi square sine square theta divided by R square. So here we can say using the this equation I have written W average is equal to this one. Now radiation intensity U is related with the W average. So as we know that radiation intensity is related with the W average, so I can write here U is equal to R square W average. Now W average we have already put it, so I can write here n by 2 K I0L by lambda square sine square theta. So the maximum value of U, I can say maximum value of U will be obtained when theta is equal to pi by 2. So U max is equal to neta by 2 K I0L by 4 pi square. So here I can write I have got the maximum radiation intensity U max for infinitesimal dipole is neta by 2 K I0L by 4 pi square. Now let us find out the radiated power for infinitesimal dipole. So to obtain P radiated, to obtain P radiated. Now we know that P radiated here is equal to neta pi by 3 I0L by lambda square. ठीक है, so the power radiated by an infinitesimal is already obtained. I'm using the formula of the d0, that d0 is equal to 4 pi u max by P radiated. So if I put the values of u max and the P radiated, I can write 4 pi neta by 2 ki0L by 4 pi square divided by neta pi by 3 I0L by lambda square. So here using, we know that this k is nothing but the phase constant 2 pi by lambda, we can get that d0 is equal to 3 by 2. So if we put that values over there, we have got that d0 is nothing but the 3 by 2. So if I'm interested d0 in the decibels, so d0 dB is equal to 10 log d0. ठीक है, so we have already find out the d0, that is 1.5. so this will be the 10 log of 1.5, which is nothing but the 1.76 dB. so this is nothing but the directivity. So here we can find out the maximum effective aperture as we know the d0. so I can write here the maximum effective aperture is AEM, which is equal to lambda 0 by 4 pi d0, which is 3 lambda square 8 pi. So I have find out here the maximum effective aperture for this infinitesimal dipole. So directivity will be 1.76 dB and effective aperture will be 3 lambda square by 8 pi. Now let us find out the problems with the infinitesimal dipoles. ठीक है, so in the infinitesimal dipole we assume that we are having the length is very small. So here the problems with the infinitesimal dipole, the first problem that we are assuming that lambda or length is very smaller than lambda. So particularly your length is less than lambda by 50. So let us calculate the radiation resistance for this antenna. So if we calculate the RR for this antenna, 80 pi square lambda by 50 by lambda square, which is nothing but the 0.316 ohms. ठीक है, so this is the radiation resistance for infinitesimal dipole. So the practical transmission lines with the characteristics of impedance 50 ohm or 75 ohms are used as the field lines. ठीक है, so there is a large mismatch present here. ठीक है, so it is difficult. So you large mismatch with the transmission lines of impedance 50 ohm or 75 ohm. So this is the first problem. Now let us talk about the second problem, that we have also assumed the current to be uniform. This requires current to be non-zero at the end points of the dipole. So this is practically impossible since the surrounding medium is not conducting. ठीक है, so here you need that your at end points your current must be the non-zero. So at I'll have these end points, your current is or to be non-zero, which is not possible. So this is the second problem with your infinitesimal problem. So use of the infinitesimal dipole. So as we know that this is in practical antenna, so where we are using this particular antenna, so this dipole analysis is just used or you can say this dipole analysis teaches us that improvement in the radiation resistance is possible by increasing the length of the dipole. So though this antenna is not practical, this antenna is used as the building block, or you can say this is the basic of all antennas. This is used to analyze other antennas. So here we'll stop and we'll talk about other antennas in the next session. Thank you.